Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Reecee News. And recently, Nintendo didn't really state anything about not having Joy-Con drift with the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which is kind of disappointing, and it will probably mean that the Switch OLED model will have drift in a lot of its Joy-Cons, so it's really disappointing that they aren't gonna fix this, and it's really tone deaf that they really haven't been listening about this problem. I mean, this Nintendo Switch OLED model looks fine. I mean, like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it or not, because it's not too much of an upgrade. But it's just kind of disappointing that they're not gonna fix the Joy-Con drift, and there's no confirmation if they are or not, but I'm leaning on the side of that they're not gonna fix the Joy-Con drift, and they're just ignoring it, and they don't really see it as a big problem, which is definitely a problem on its own, because Joy-Con drift is definitely a problem, and it affects a lot of people, and it affected me sometimes too, which is pretty bad, and it breaks the game a lot of the time. So I really hope that they eventually fix Joy-Con drift, but it really doesn't seem like they're gonna do it with the OLED model. It's just really stupid and really tone deaf, and they really need to fix this sometime soon. And I really don't see anyone defending Joy-Con drift, which is good, but yeah, I really think Nintendo should actually listen to people, not just the fans, but also people who are just average consumers too, who are having this problem. But it would just be really helpful if they actually fix the drift issues in the Joy-Cons, because they're always saying like, oh, it's just the same Joy-Cons and everything like that. There's not really a problem with like Joy-Con drift, but that's like, I really feel like they're trying to avoid this situation, and they don't really want to spend money on it, even though they have tons of money right now, and it probably won't be that expensive to like come up with a new analog stick. But I guess it's just Nintendo being Nintendo. I don't know if they're gonna fix this or not. Maybe we'll have to wait another few years for them to say anything about this, but it's pretty disappointing. But next up, it's also kind of it's not really disappointing, but it's kind of just angering news with video game collecting and everything. So basically, a copy of Super Mario 64 just sold for $1.56 million. Super Mario 64, a very common game that's only worth about $20 for like a cartridge, a loose cartridge, and that you could download on like almost every Nintendo, like not the Switch anymore because they took that off, but you could still buy 3D All-Stars basically anywhere, because for some reason 3D All-Stars is still available in stores. Like Nintendo, I feel like they kind of brought that back, which is kind of weird. And then like a physical copy of it on the Nintendo 64 isn't that much. And then you could also buy it on the Wii U. You could get like a copy of it for DS, or well, that's technically the remake, but it's still a pretty similar game. But Super Mario 64 is everywhere. But this graded copy that is somehow a perfect version of it, that's sealed and everything, is like, I mean, you could just buy a new game right now and just put it away for 20 years, and it will be like $1 million. I don't know what the logic is behind this. I mean, they've been doing this for years, like with Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda, selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, which, like, the games themselves really aren't worth that much compared to how much they're selling for. And this is really, I think this is just rich people just buying the games just because they're expensive. Like, oh, I bought Mario 64 for $1 million. It's just more of the fact that you're buying it for $1 million, not the game actually being rare, because Super Mario 64 is far from rare. It's a very common game. And, like, I mean, there's games that are way more rarer than, Super Mario 64, like, most GameCube games, for example. Like, I mean, I don't really agree with the fact that they're nearing $100 in value for a lot of them, but it's just like, at least they're on a console that didn't really sell that well, but I still think GameCube games should be a lot cheaper than they actually are. But Super Mario 64 selling for $1 billion just really doesn't make any sense. like, other than the fact that someone's just buying it for $1 million just to have the title that they bought Super Mario 64 for $1 million. Like, this is kind of damaging to the actual, like, video game collecting community, because a lot of these rich people are basically buying these really good conditions of games and basically making the value of these games go up, and also, like, more of these games are just gonna be sold for a ridiculous amount of money. And it's just really weird. Like, I mean, I know having a sealed game is like a good thing for like collecting and everything. I understand that. And I understand that they could be pretty expensive, like hundreds or even $1,000 for like a sealed game and everything. But just this graded copy, I can understand like some graded copies being like several $1,000s. But like 1 million is definitely pushing it. I would even say like $10,000 is pushing it for like a graded copy of a common game. But yeah, anyways, this really isn't a good situation. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of almost like an attention-seeking thing too, like a game being $1 million or selling for $1 million. This has been going on for years, like with Super Mario Bros. And then even a few days ago with The Legend of Zelda, it broke a record being 870,000, and then today, or well, yesterday, Super Mario 64 sold for $1.56 million. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.